How's it going, everyone? Week 9 of the NFL is out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and do our reactions and takeaways to all the games. And with that out of the way, we'll hop back to Thursday Night Football, where the Ravens basically killed the Dolphins. This is like a matchup that was in the air because Dolphins obviously can't fly and birds can. So, yeah, the Ravens killed them. Lamar came back, and Lamar and Derrick Henry looked electric. And, I thought the game would be a little closer, but I'm not, super shocked about the outcome. Good for the Ravens for getting back on track. And as for the Dolphins, it's just been one of those seasons. And they traded Jalen Phillips, and they fired their offensive coordinator after this game. So, yeah. All right, next up, we have one of the best games of the season. We had the Bears beating the Bengals 47-42. And I got to give credit to Caleb Williams. He had a really good game, and he's been in a bit of a slump for the last 4 or 5 games, but this game definitely got him out of it, and the Bears are 5-3 and in the thick of the NFC North, so good for them. And as for the Bengals, honestly, this is probably just a byproduct of paying too much money to your offense, because they're paying Jamar Chase, they're paying Joe Burrow, they're paying T. Higgins. You're just not going to have enough firepower on the defensive side of the ball to win games, and it's unfortunate because it's fun to watch them play, but you kind of know what's going to happen. Okay, next up we have the Vikings beating the Lions 27-24, and yeah, this was J.J. McCarthy's first game back since week 2. He had a really good game. He had 3 total touchdowns, and the Vikings beat their arch rival Lions. So good for the Vikings to get a win like this. This puts them in the racing for the NFC North, just like the Bears. And yeah, good for them. And as for the Lions, this is very disappointing considering you were at home coming off of your bye week. I thought for sure they'd win this game, but, they didn't give Jahmyr Gibbs the ball that much just because the Vikings were, stopping him very well. And, the Lions, I don't know, they just had an off game. I think they'll be fine, but it's definitely a little concerning that they had an off game off the bye week. All right, next up, we have the Panthers beating the Packers 16-13. I definitely did not expect this. I thought it would be lower scoring because of the wind that was going on in this game, but at the same time, obviously everyone thought the Packers were going to win. They were 2 touchdown favorites for a reason, and they just couldn't get it done. All credit goes to the Panthers. They got their ass kicked by the Bills last week, but they responded really well and beat a Super Bowl caliber team in the Packers, and yeah, good for the Panthers. And as for the Packers, I don't know what it is. I feel like you guys always lose to the average to the below average team. Their 2 losses are to the Browns and the Panthers. That's such a weird 2 losses. All I'll say about that. And honestly, I do think they could definitely still win the NFC North. They could definitely still be the 1 seed. They have a big game next week against the Eagles. We'll see how they respond. All right, next up, we had the Broncos beating the Texans 18-15 in a very ugly game where C.J. Stroud suffered an injury, so we obviously hope the best in his recovery. But yeah, we won a game that we probably should have won by a little more points, but, we still won the game. We got the job done, and I know a lot of people are probably critical of the Broncos and how they're winning games, but, we're finally winning 1-score games for the first time in years. I feel like we never win these types of games, and now that we are, we're looking good. And as for the Texans, this game kind of shows why your offense needs to keep up with your defense, because their defense played phenomenal. I'm not going to lie. But their offense, they kicked 5 field goals. And, to be fair, C.J. Stroud not being in the game definitely hurt. But they still had other opportunities to win this game, and they just couldn't capitalize. And I thank them for that. From one ugly win to another ugly win, we go to Foxborough to talk about the Patriots escaping against the Falcons. And I will say, Drake May didn't look his greatest in the game, and the Falcons almost came all the way back, which is extremely ironic if you know about all that. And the Patriots, this game almost went to overtime, but the Falcons missed a PAT, and the Patriots were able to run out the rest of the clock and escape with a victory and keep their winning streak alive. And as for the Falcons, I mean, this is kind of just what you expect. I mean, it's the Falcons. I hate to be that guy, but I mean, I don't really think Raheem Morris is a good head coach. I think he needs to go after the season because, I mean, I think he's wasting so much talent because the Falcons have a lot of talent. For example, Drake London, who had 3 touchdowns and had some of the craziest catches in that game, but why does it matter if you're going to just blow all the one-score games that you have in your vicinity? All right, we go to MetLife Stadium and talk about the 49ers beating the Giants 34-24, and this game was about what I expected. I mean, it was a little more high-scoring than I thought, but, I mean, the 49ers, they're a better team than the Giants. Both teams are incredibly injured right now, but the 49ers, I think they did a good job running the ball with CMC this week, and if they can keep doing that, I mean, I think they'll be all right. And as for the Giants, I mean, honestly, I think this season's over, but Jackson Dart looked good, and honestly, that's probably the best you can ask for if you're a Giants fan. If he looks good, your team has hope. And honestly, I think next year they have hope. All right, and next up, we have the Steelers beating the Colts 27-20, and I told you this would happen. I literally predicted it perfectly, so I'm going to pat myself on the back for a second. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line of this game is when you turn the ball over 6 times, because that's what the Colts did, I mean, you can't really expect to win a lot of games like that. You know, I definitely didn't predict that they would have 6 turnovers. I just predicted the Steelers would win because of the curse wheel, but, you know, what can I say? The curse wheel must have cursed the Colts with some ill-timed, turnovers. So good for the Steelers, though. Their defense actually looked really good in this game. And, I mean, they honestly, for most of the game, they were in full control. The Colts just kind of window dressed a little bit in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, good for the Steelers to, keep pace with the rest of the AFC. And as for the Colts, it was bound to happen. I mean, you guys have been playing great all year, but every team has off games. And honestly, I think you guys will be fine for the rest of the season. And also, shout out to getting Sauce Gardner from the Jets. That actually happened about an hour or two before I made this video. So he's going to really help your defense. So even when you lose, you still win in a way. All right, next up, we have the Chargers beating the Titans 27-20. And I will say the Chargers at the start of this game were looking pretty bad. Justin Herbert threw a pick 6, and there was a special teams touchdown by, I think his name's Cameron DK on the Titans. But, I mean, the thing is, the Titans just aren't a great team, and they couldn't really capitalize. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of all I need to say. There's no major takeaways here because they just had 2 really good plays but couldn't capitalize, and the Chargers still won. So, good for them to stay alive in the AFC West. All right, next up, we got our 4 o'clock slate. We have the Jags beating the Raiders by a singular point. This went to overtime, and boy, what a game this was. It went to overtime. Cam Little had a 68-yard field goal, which is the NFL record for the regular season, and he has the preseason record too. So, shout out to him for having both those records. But yeah, it was good for the Jags to get back on track with a win. So, that's all I gotta say. I don't think Trevor played the greatest game, but I did see that he was dealing with an illness, so maybe that's why he's not playing great. But the Jags still won. And, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, you kept pace with the AFC and the Colts lost this week, so that helps him out too. And as for the Raiders, I mean, you lost, but, Brock Bowers looked really good. He had 3 touchdowns, and honestly, this is probably the best possible result for them because you're not making the playoffs, but, you still want your team to look good, and honestly, they did. All right, next up, we have the Rams beating the Saints 34-10. And, I mean, yeah, this is kind of about what I thought. I mean, I was actually only off by a singular point. I said 35-10, but it was 34-10. But, I mean, yeah, this is about what I thought just because when you have Tyler Shuck playing his first career start against a team like the Rams who have an elite defense and an explosive offense, this is about what I expect. I mean, the Saints are not a good team, so I'm not surprised they lost this game, and it's been a rough season for them. And as for the Rams, I mean, you took care of a bad team, so I guess congratulations to that and keeping pace in the NFC West. All right, next up we got Game of the Year, the, annual game of the year between the Bills and the Chiefs, where the Bills won 28-21 in the regular season. And this game was honestly literally about what I expected when you look at the box score. I mean, honestly, the Chiefs didn't play that great. Mahomes had less than 50% of his passes completed. And, the Chiefs didn't look that good. But, they still made it a game just because it's the Chiefs and they can do that. But yeah, good for the Bills for getting this win just because it keeps pace, in the AFC East with the Patriots. And as a Broncos fan, thank you, Bills, for beating the Chiefs. All right, next up we have the Seahawks beating the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. And there's a lot to unpack with this game. The game itself was belt to ass. The Seahawks killed the Commanders, and that's all that. And the main thing with this game is the Commanders leaving Jaden Daniels out in the fourth quarter when the team was down by 30. What the hell? And then he got injured. It's why you don't leave your players out when the game is essentially over. So I really think that was a dumb decision by Dan Quinn to leave Jaden Daniels out, and then he suffered an arm injury. So I hope he recovers well, but at the same time, it looked bad. And as for the Seahawks, this is a great win, and, it keeps pace in the NFC West, so good for you guys. And ending the week, on Monday Night Football, we had the Cardinals beating the Cowboys 27-17. This one was certainly a shock. It's a shock for two reasons, because this is the first game the Cardinals have played all year where it didn't result in a one-score victory or loss, because they won by 10. And, it was a little lower scoring than I thought, just because the Cowboys' offense has looked a little out of sync these last 2 weeks. Last week it was a little understandable because they were playing a top 5 defense, but the Cardinals, their defense is all right, but they're definitely not top 5. So I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys, and we'll see if they can rebound, but I really don't see it happening with that defense because your offense basically needs to be on fire for you to even have a chance. And as for the Cardinals, honestly, good win. I don't think it's going to save your season or anything, but it feels good to get a win after losing 5 straight one-score games. And, it's always nice to, win a game whenever your team is down and feels like they're out. But, upsets like this feel really good if you're the team that's, underdog. All right, that's going to do it. Week 9, I went 11-3. That puts my current record at 94-40-1. And like I mentioned earlier, I got that exact score with the Colts and Steelers in Week 9. That puts my total for exact scores at 2. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I know it's probably not the greatest video just because, it was a little rushed. But you know what? I'll see you guys next time I make the videos. And it will be on Thursday because that's when I do my Week 10 NFL predictions. So peace out.